Just after lunch on the afternoon of February 3rd, 2001, I helped some of his friends bury what was very likely the best turkey hunter of the last 3/4 of the 20th century. We put him near the ashes of his father and the temple of his gods, and we did it through the doors of the church he had joined as a boy of 11 in 1938. The scripture for the funeral service was read from the pages of the same pocket Bible that was given to him the day he joined that church 63 years ago. And in common with many small towns and churches across Alabama's Black Belt, there has been no appreciable change in the appearance of either the church building or the town in the 63 years that has passed since he first became a member. He sleeps in the graveyard of the First Presbyterian Church of Camden, Alabama, at about the center of the southwest quarter of Section 20, Township 12, Range 7, 200 yards east of the water tower. The location of the grave is some 4 miles north of the location of the last turkey he shot, there on that height of land that overlooks Gravel Creek in Section 5 of Township 11, Range 7. The cemetery itself is just 2 miles below the bottom curve of Gee's Bend on the Alabama River. This spring, on any cool morning before the leaves get too big, if you will station yourself at the lich gate of the cemetery, it would be possible to hear faint gobbles along the south bank of the river, all of which only means that in addition to being buried with his fathers, he is also buried in the midst of his avocation. It was not an unusual way for me to spend an afternoon. If a person stays in the same battalion-sized organization for 40 years and holds a position far enough up the rank structure to have had a hand in recruiting, training, and working with almost all of its people, he will end up spending a lot of afternoons on handles, those handles that run along the sides of the coffins of the final containers of friends. After the church service that afternoon, we had a bitch of a time with the box. None of the pallbearers could be described as being in the first flush of young manhood. A couple of us have grown rather long in the tooth, and while the load itself was not in the least heavy, the path was rough. The 100 yards from the back of the hearse to the graveside itself passed over exceptionally narrow and crooked cemetery walkways bordered by raised concrete copings that have fallen into a poor state of repair. In my own particular case, there was an additional load. I carried, besides my share of the coffin, the weight of 42 years of memories piled on top of the box. A 42-year collection of memories, even those of the lightest and most joyful occasions, weigh somewhere in the neighborhood of 1.5 tons. We not only worked together, me and the man in the box, we hunted together, which tends to let you look at a man's qualities from a wide variety of perspectives. If there were ever a crossword between us, or a cross purpose, for so long a period as 1.5 minutes in all of those 42 years, I cannot recall it, and I am unable to make that statement about any other human being, living or dead. It is, of course, a presumption of the highest degree for me to award this man the trophy as the best of 3/4 of a century, even if the award is made posthumously. Obviously, I have not known all the hunters in the century, and you are certainly entitled to ask who the hell elected me to the position of chairman of the selection board anyway. In answer to your question, there was neither an election nor an appointment. Unlike the claims made by politicians for many years, those insinuations to the effect that the office sought the man in this instance sought the office blatantly, openly, deliberately, and assumed the office after a unilateral decision, but there was a degree of justification. The man who sought the office brought to the table 62 years of background, a background beginning at a point in time when there were less than 1,500 turkey hunters in the entire world, and a man who consequently has seen far more turkey hunters than most people and is certainly in a position to deliver an informed opinion. To sail this already frail vessel of conceit even further out into the sea of immodesty, I will go yet another step. As far as my ability to judge the matter is concerned, I find myself in the same position as the old man who said he might not be the best steel driver in the state of Tennessee, but that man who was dead, and that didn't leave anybody but him. I have never asked for a volunteer in my life, and I never expect to. When you know what the mission requires, you select the best qualified man within your organization to do it. discussions, board meetings, committee action, or any of the other forms of group process are simply examples of indecisiveness and are neither necessary nor desired. In this matter, I gave the job to the best man I had. The posthumous award is made upon the basis of two principles, neither of which is friendship. First of all, the recipient built his reputation principally upon public turkeys rather than private. And secondly, his uncanny ability to handle what are known as giveaways bordered on the supernatural. It is impossible to overstate the difference between public and private turkeys.